I am a big fan of free motion quilting, and I tend to free motion quilt all my own quilts. So we're talking about the stitching that you often see in the background of the fabric to help secure all the layers from the, oh look at that, through the batting from the front to the back. So on the Singer Quantum Stylist 9960, you do have a foot that is considered a darning foot or free motion foot. So I'm going to show you how to put this on, when to use it, and probably a little bit of how to adjust your tension. So when we are working with just straight line stitching with this machine came the walking foot. So this would be if you're sewing and then you have to turn and turn as you go around certain areas, you're actually physically turning the fabric as you go. With free motion quilting, you don't have to turn the fabric and you can get that free form. Now that does take a little practice, and we do have some videos recommended below this YouTube video in our Bluprint online course section. So if you want to click over there, those are some of our recommended videos or online courses to watch, and then you can learn how to be a free motion quilter like I am. All right, walking foot is feed dogs up. Free motion quilting, we need feed dogs down. So you're going to come underneath the slide-on table, which by the way is already on my machine, and we'll be using that to support our fabric. So right here, feed dogs are going to go down and lower, and I actually already have the foot semi-loosened because I'm going to take that little screw out of the foot on the left side right here, remove the complete ankle and foot, and let's go ahead and slide the table back in place. So I mentioned the table, so this comes with the machine, so pull it out if you're not already using it. It will help you give the fabric a little bit more stability as you are moving it around. Just that extra surface is going to make all the difference. Okay, next, this foot is going to attach with the screw right through that area there, and there's this long arm here. The long arm needs to be settled above the screw that you take your needle in and out with. So as I position this to attach it, you're going to notice I'm going to be setting that up above that and then bringing the foot kind of around the post where the screw is. Next, you're going to notice it doesn't want to align with the post. So here's my little trick. Take the hand wheel and turn it towards you. The needle's going to kind of go down, so position the little foot opening so the needle can sit in it. And that will allow the post and the screw to easily line up. Trust me, you have to lower that needle in, otherwise it's not going to work. So this foot is actually considered a hopping foot, so that's why it wasn't at the angle we need it for, but once it gets going and you see the hopping part of this, it will make more sense. Okay, so make sure that screw is in, give it a good little twist and turn so it doesn't wiggle loose. I'm going to turn my hand wheel away from me because my needle's not actually in the fabric, but I'm going to just bring it back and get a hold of this thread. Now with our feed dogs down, we just need to be on a straight stitch center needle position, but it doesn't matter what our stitch length is. Now here's another thing. Normally I have people hold onto this thread, take a stitch, and bring the bobbin thread up. But because we've been using the thread cutter on the front of the machine, that thread is actually really short and it's actually not going to get in our way. So all I'm going to do is have you lower the presser foot, hold on to this thread, and start to stitch. I'll usually start with a few stitches kind of in that same place just to get started. And then once I can kind of move away from where I began, I'm going to go ahead and cut that thread. Okay, so the goal with free motion quilting is to find the right movement speed of your hands in relationship to how fast you sew. Now remember, we have a speed control, so we can actually find kind of like a cruise speed. How about half? Sometimes I'm a little above half, so that means when I step on my foot control all the way, oh, that's still pretty fast. I'm going to come down. That's right, this machine's one of the faster ones. Oh, I like that. So can you hear the speed difference? So what I can do is kind of start to match my hand speed with the speed of the machine and start to get some nice even looking stitches. Now before I go any further, we got to look at the back of the fabric. Okay, so because it's not a normal presser foot, free motion quilting can have a little different look. Well, actually it doesn't look too bad. You want to see the same stitch on the front as you do on the back, but if you need to adjust your tension to kind of balance it out. So if I saw too much of the top thread on the back and it wasn't as smooth, then I would tighten it, and if I wasn't seeing any stitch and it just looked awful and was being pulled to the top, then I would loosen it. Usually you have to tighten it a little bit because the foot's just kind of out here flopping. But I kind of like the way it looks. Again, I'm a fan of thinner thread for free motion quilting. I'm going to lower the presser foot down and then take a few stitches to kind of get a little lock to it. And then once you get going and practice some fun patterns, before you know it, you can have some fun filling in an area. All right, I wanted to just make sure that you had the basic understanding of how to put the foot on, stitch you're going to use, lowering the feed dogs. The needle I love to use is a top stitch needle, size 90, maybe a little bigger if you're using a thicker thread, but all those elements have to be done correctly for you to be successful at free motion quilting. And then it's just practice.